The poem is directed towards a child. What is the name of the child? The child's name is Margaret. We are not yet reading. Again, remember, Nangi, reading the poem is not the most important thing. Understanding the poem and taking the understanding of the poem to the exam is our goal. Taking the understanding of the poem to the exam is going to be your shortcut towards an A, baby. So here's the deal. When we talk about the narrator, do you know who the narrator is? Oh, no, we don't. We don't know who the narrator is. The narrator is unknown. Is Hopkins the narrator? No, no. Hopkins, Manley Hopkins, is the poet. When we talk about the poem, though, the narrator is talking to a girl called Margaret. Margaret is a child, okay? Have you found the word child anywhere else in the poem? Absolutely. In the title is Spring and Fall to a Young Child, right? So here we are. When we talk about the narration, the narrator is talking to a character called Margaret. All right. And Margaret is a child. Margaret is crying, is weeping, grieving, is crying. One moment. She is grieving. You guys, when we start reading the poem, you're going to understand this, okay? Margaret, are you grieving over Golden Grove unleaving? She is crying because the leaves are falling off of the trees. When will the leaves fall off of the trees? When there's a nuclear blast. When Shaitan climbs trees and plucks the trees. Leaves, no. What is the season where leaves fall off of trees? It's called the fall season, right? Or you can call it autumn, right? Tum-tum. Autumn indeed, okay? So why is she crying? She's crying because of autumn. She's crying because the leaves are falling off the trees. The narrator uses a thing called neologism. Neologism. What do you mean by neologism? A kind of psychology? Oh, no, no, no. Neologism means invented words, okay? Invented words. That's called neologism. Can you believe that? One more time, okay? The narrator is talking to a child called Margaret. Margaret is grieving. She is weeping, right? Why is she crying though? She's crying because the leaves of the trees are falling off. How do you know the leaves of the trees are falling off? It's given in the title. Spring and fall to a young child. The child did not fall. What's the name of the child? The child's name is Margaret. And then why is she crying? She is crying because leaves are falling off of trees during the season of autumn, during the season of fall. Now, there are invented words, okay? The invented words are wormwood. Are these real words? If you look inside your dictionary, will you be able to find these words? Na, boru, meva, poi, vachana. What are these? These are poi, vachana, wormwood. And then we have leaf meal, okay? Wormwood and leaf meal are the words, are these neologisms you find in Spring and Fall to a Young Child, okay? 15-line poem. 3 rhyming couplets, 1 rhyming tessette, 3 more rhyming couplets. And there's one more word. It is unleaving. What do you mean by unleaving? L-E-A-V-I-N-G. Leaves are super glued to the tree, or leaves are falling down. Leaves are falling down. Margaret is the name of the girl. The narrator is talking to Margaret. Why is he talking to Margaret? Because Margaret is grieving. Margaret is crying, right? Margaret undernava ane. Why is Margaret underne? She is underne because Marathula ikira illegal buludutane gahetiana kola vatenava. What's the reason? It's called fall. It's called autumn. Due to the season of autumn, these trees are losing their leaves. What do you mean by wormwood? Wormwood means a wood is becoming pale, okay? Wood becoming pale. Now, when someone becomes pale, are they healthy or are they sick? They are sick, right? So tell me, during autumn, the trees become sick, don't they? So wormwood means wood. You guys know what wood is, right? You might have seen some good wood, haven't you? Wormwood means the wood is sick. The wood is paling. It's not dark wood. It's paling. It's becoming light in color. Leaf meal means the leaves are breaking into pieces. The leaves are decomposing, right? The leaves are breaking into pieces. Leaf meal. Hope you understand that. Are these real words? What were the invented words that we were talking about? Kianna satapata gala. Wormwood, leaf meal, unleaving. These are all invented words. Can you believe that? In the end, you guys can screenshot this. If you screenshot it, it means you have the entire poem inside your pocket, okay? So, however, Margaret's mouth does not know. What is Margaret doing now? She's dancing, right? She's like, hey, during when the leaves are falling on her, she's like dancing. Is that what's going on? No. Margaret is grieving. Margaret is crying. Tell me, when you learn literature, you are not an artist. You are a lawyer. You are thinking, acting, and behaving like a lawyer. You must have evidence for whatever you say. The evidence is given in the poem. Margaret is crying. Why is Margaret crying? Because the leaves in the trees are falling down. But does Margaret's mouth know why she's crying? No. Does Margaret's mind know why she is crying? No. What knows that Margaret is crying? Her ghost. Now, what do you mean by ghost? It means pay, yaka. No. There is another meaning for the word ghost. Can you believe that? It's so easy, Baba. The other meaning for the word ghost is someone's genius. You are Hafsa. Is a kiss from Javed, sir. Spirit, or then soul, right? Soul, spirit. Not sprite, okay? Spirit. Or soul is another meaning for the word ghost. So Margaret is crying, all right? Margaret is crying. Why is Margaret crying? Because the leaves from the trees are falling off. Why are the leaves from the trees falling off? Because of the season called spring, right? Apologies. No. Fall, right? Fall. Autumn is the reason why these trees are unleaving. The wood is becoming wormwood. The leaf is becoming leaf meal. Nangi me kahapata kaka wage tira ten. Are these real words or are they fake words? Me kahapata kaka wage ten. What are they? They are fake words, right? They are invented words. They are called, what do you call invented words in English? Bye-bye. They are called neologism. Neologisms. How many neologisms can you find in Spring and Fall to a Young Child? You find 3 neologisms: leaf meal, wormwood, and then unleaving. Margaret is crying. Does Margaret know why she is crying? She might, but does Margaret's mouth know why she's crying? No. Does Margaret's brain know why she's crying? No, they don't know. But then Margaret's ghost knows why she is crying. It is the blight. Blight man was born for. What do you mean by blight? Pain, suffering, right? It is the blight. The pain, the suffering, disease is another word. Well done. The blight, the pain, the suffering, the disease that man was born for. That is why Margaret is crying. Mulu poem maker, 15-line poem. AABBC, D, EEFFG rhyming scheme. How many lines do you have in Spring and Fall to a Young Child, baby? You've got 15 lines in the poem. The poem has a formal rhyming scheme. 3 rhyming couplets, 1 rhyming facet, 3 more rhyming couplets. And you guys screenshot tag gagan puluwan the men maker. Satapata gala screenshot tag gagan lamaine. Who is crying? Margaret is crying. Why is she crying? She's crying because leaves falling from trees because of the autumn fall season. Margaret's mouth doesn't know why she is crying. Margaret's mind does not know why she is crying. But Margaret's ghost know why she is crying. What do you mean by ghost? Yaka, Holman, Pei, Pisasi. No. Ghost means soul. Ghost means spirit. In Sinhala, we call this arthritis. Arthur. No, we call it Atmaya, right? Atmaya. In this poem, even though the mind and the mouth of Margaret can't understand why she is crying, her ghost, her soul understands why she is crying. What's the reason? The reason man was born for. What was the reason that man was born for, Baba? Man was born for blight. What do you mean by blight? Dukkha, disease, suffering, pain. And that is the reason why Margaret is crying. Screenshot ekak gaganna sata pata chata gala. I'm very sure you guys will appreciate this note, especially before your exam. 15-line poem. A, B, B, C, C, D, 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 rhyming scheme, along with D, 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 E, E, F, F, and then G, G. 3 rhyming couplets, 1 rhyming tercet, 3 more rhyming couplets. Can you believe that? Margaret, are you grieving over Golden Grove unleaving? Margaret is a child. Grieving means she is crying, she is sad. Why is she crying? Why is she sad? She is sad over Golden Grove. Golden Grove is a name of a place, but what do you mean by grove? Grove is a collection of trees, a collection of lions. What's it called? You guys might have done Big Match. Animal Crackers by Richard Rizzo. 1983, the poem was written, 46 lines. Animal Crackers, by the way, it has a word called pride of lions. What do you mean by a pride of lions, Baba? Pride of lions is a collection of lions, right? Kind of like that. Here's a lion by. These are my trees. This is my lion, okay? Lion. By the way, I believe the lion might look something like, I don't know, like this, right? As like, fangs and, I don't know, man. This is my lion, okay? I'm not a arts teacher, so I don't teach arts. Drawing, that's why it is literature, right? If I can draw, I would not teach literature. I would have taught drawing. So here's the deal. A pride of lions is a collective noun for lions. A grove is a collective noun for trees. What is the name of the place? Kalambu, Anuradhapura, Kiribat, Goda, Maradana, Neme. Golden Grove. Unleaving. Is it a real word or is it a poi vachanayak? It's fake. Fake words are called neologisms. They are called neologisms. Genius. Well done. Proud of you. Okay. Margaret, are you grieving over Golden Grove unleaving? Margaret? Ayo, Margaret, are you crying because the trees in Golden Grove are unleaving? Their leaves are falling off. Leaves. Now, this is the first couplet, right? What is the rhyming scheme of the first couplet? Double A, grieving rhymes with unleaving. Leaves like the things of man, you with your fresh thoughts care for, can you? You care about leaves like they are things of man. Everybody cares about a man's thing. I mean, things of man, right? Don't you? Isn't that right, Fatima? You care about the things of man, right? What do you mean by a man's thing? I mean things of man, okay? The living of man, life of man, problems of man, good things, bad things, everything of man. Leaves are like the things of man, the problems, the good things, the future, the past of man, the business of man. This right here is a simile, right? There's another good word also, the trades of man, the comings and goings of man. It's a simile. You with your fresh thoughts. When someone has fresh thoughts, are they naki or are they tarunai or gollavage? Fresh thoughts. When you take fresh fruits, are these old and panu gahala leaking fluids? Is that fresh or new? That's fresh, right? So tell me, Nangi, Margaret, the narrator is speaking with Margaret, right? You guys might know Margaret. Is she a child or the narrator's wife? A child, okay. Child is The Margaret is a child, but not Margaret, okay? Margaret isn't crying because they're going to marry her off. No, no. Margaret, a child, is crying because Golden Grove is growing or unleaving. Golden Grove is unleaving. You with your fresh thoughts, Margaret is a child, right? Margaret is young, like you guys. Golot young neither, like Javidson, yeah. How old is Javed? 13 years old. I became 13 only today. Can you believe that? Yeah. Can you? You care about these leaves like they are the things of. Margaret Nangi cares about these leaves like they're a small thing or like they are a big thing, like they are valuable, they are things of man. She cares about these leaves like they are the affairs of man. Can you believe that? That's a simile, right? So easy. Margaret, are you grieving? Margaret, are you crying, Margaret? Over, what's the name of the place? Golden Grove, unleaving, leaves like the things of man. You, with your fresh thoughts, Margaret. Margaret, you have fresh thoughts, Margaret. You with your fresh thoughts, care for, can you? Can you care for leaves like they are the things of man? Does Margaret care about the leaves or does she not care about the leaves? How can you prove that she cares about the leaves? Is she like laughing when the leaves are falling off? Like, she's laughing. Is she laughing with the leaves or is she crying because the leaves have fallen off the trees? Margaret is grieving. Well done, Alpha. Margaret is grieving because the trees are unleaving. She cares about these leaves like they are the things, the affairs of man, the problems of man. And Abba, you're right. Margaret is crying. She's grieving. And here are the three. Here is the couplet and the tessetta, okay? As the heart grows old. Now tell me, will Margaret's heart become old? Or will the full Margaret package become old? Will her heart only become old? Or will her full body become old? Will the full person become old? When we talk about Margaret, she becomes older, right? Not just her heart. Margaret becomes older. Again, a person's leg won't become old. A person's head won't become old. Lungs won't become old. The entire person will become old. As the heart grows older, it will come to such sights colder. What do you mean by a cold sight? A good thing to see or a bad thing to see? Cold sights. As the heart grows older, it will come to such sights called, when you're a Chuti Baba, Montessori Baba, you might not have seen the bad things in the world, right? But as you grow older, you see so many bad things, right? So I hope you understand, when Margaret becomes older, as her heart, and as Margaret grow older, she will see colder sights. She will see things worse than the leaves falling from the tree. Don't forget that, okay? The entire conversation began with the topic of the leaves falling from the tree. Margaret, are you grieving over Golden Grove? Unleaving, leaves like the things of man. You with your fresh thoughts, care for, can you guys believe that I have memorized the poem? It makes learning the poem and teaching the poem so easy. I don't have to use my notes all the time. In the exam, Baba, can you take your notes? And Margaret, are you... Give me a minute, madam, please, okay? Put that in. Margaret, are you... You can't take your notes to the exam. Not like the teachers, right? Teachers can use their notes in the classroom. Teachers can read from a paper, but you guys can't do that. You guys have to work harder than a teacher. I have worked hard and I have memorized the poem. One more time. Margaret, are you grieving over Golden Grove? Unleaving, leaves like the things of man. You, with your fresh thoughts, care for, can you? As the heart grows older, it will come to such sights colder. By and by means eventually. as time progresses, by and by, nor spare a sigh. It will not spare a sigh. What do you mean by sparing something? Sparing something means not giving something. It will not spare a sigh. What do you mean by sigh, Baba? What do you mean by sigh? It is an exhaling of air to show your happiness or your sadness. Hayo, ha. A sigh, S-I-G-H, okay? A sigh is something that you do, a exhaling of air when you want to show sadness. Hayo, ha. Sighing, okay? Ha. So her heart will not spare a sigh. When she gets older, will she see better things or worse things? When she gets older, who is she? She is Margaret. As the heart grows older, it will come to such sights colder. The more older she becomes, she's going to see more colder things, heartless things, emotionless things, horrible things. By and by, nor spare a sigh. You will not spare a sigh, okay? You will not stop sighing. You will not stop feeling sad. True, right? When you were in Montessori, there were not many problems. But when you grow older and older, you guys get your hearts broken, you get scolded, you fail, and you feel more sad, right? Now, usually Montessori children are so happy, aren't they? But the more older you get, and when you go towards becoming an adult, you feel more and more sad. You get more and more depressed. Isn't that true? That is what the narrator is telling Margaret. As the heart grows older, it will come to such sights colder. By and by, nor spare a sigh. It will not spare a sigh. Margaret, you will keep on crying, nor spare a sigh. The worlds of wormwood leaf me lie. We talked about wormwood. Are these real words or are these poi words? What do you think? These are poi. These are called neologisms. They are called neologisms. The worlds of wormwood leaf me lie. Are there really worlds or is this a metaphor? It's a metaphor, right? Are there many worlds? There's only one world, right? It's a metaphor. Worlds of wormwood leaf me lie. Nangi, worn means pale. When do you become pale? When you are healthy or when you are sick? When you are sick. Wormwood means pale wood. The wood is becoming pale. Leaf meal. Leaves are breaking into pieces. The leaves are decomposing. When does this happen? What is the season where wormwood and leaf meal lie? What's the season, Baba? It's given in the title. It is fall or Genius Yuva Salma, autumn indeed. So due to autumn, there are worlds of wormwood leaf meal. They are lying. What do you mean by lying? Boru kiyenava? Or what, in this case, what does lie mean? They are lying on the floor, right? So one more time. Margaret, are you grieving over Golden Grove? Unleaving leaves like the things of man. You with your fresh thoughts care for, can you? As the heart grows older, it will come to such sights. Colder. By and by, nor spare a sigh. What do you mean by nor spare a sigh? Margaret will keep on sighing. Hayo, hapachie, ha. Hansi, whenever you're right, lying on the ground, obviously. Who is lying on the ground? Margaret? Oh, no. These are wormwood leaf meal. Are these real words? No, they are not. They are neologisms. They are fake words. Wormwood. Leaf me lie, and yet you will weep and know why. Still you will cry and know why. Margaret will know the reason why she is weeping, right? Margaret will know the reason why she is crying. Even though right now Margaret is crying over Golden Grove unleaving. What do you mean by Golden Grove? It is a place, right? Like Kiribatgoda, like Kurunduwatta, like Applewatta, Polgahavela, Ambagas Hatarahandia, like that. Golden Grove is a place like Higgashandia, like Maharagama is called Higgashandia. Golden Grove is a place. So why was Margaret crying? She was crying because Golden Grove was unleaving. The leaves in Golden Grove was Vatuna Neda. Too easy, okay? As the heart grows older, it will come to such sights colder. By and by, no spare as I, the worlds of wormwood leave me lie. I told you, are there really worlds? Or is this a metaphor? It's a metaphor. There can't be many worlds, right? Worlds of wormwood leave me lie. You will keep on crying, Margaret, and yet you will weep and know why. You will cry, Margaret, and you will know the reason why you are crying. Here's the other part of the poem, okay? We talked about these words. Wormwood means pale wood. Leaf meal means the leaves are in pieces. Nangi, these are called neologisms. Meva atta vachanada, meva poyi vachanada. These are fake words. Wormwood and leaf meal represent the season. What's the season, Baba? It's autumn, right? Another word for autumn given in the title. What's the word? It's called, geniuses you guys are, fall indeed. Here we are, too easy. Now, no matter child the name, what's the name of our child here? Margaret, right? Ma. Perfect. Now, no matter child the name, sorrows, springs are all the same. Nangi, spring ke mukhatte eliyata enne. That is another word, spring here, okay? You guys might know what comes out of a spring. Water. Water comes out of a spring. Does the word spring have another meaning? Yes. Two meanings, right? One meaning is a spring, spring, right? Spring mattress. And another meaning, spring is a season, right? But here, out of these three meanings, what is the main meaning that we're going to get? Water, right? A place where water shoots out. Now, no matter child the name, sorrows, springs are the same. Now tell me, sorrow, it means sadness. Does sadness come out of water springs? Or is that also a metaphor? Can sadness come out of a water spring? No, that is also a metaphor. Salma, genius you are, Nangi. Metaphor indeed. Here we are, sorrow springs. Sadness comes out of a spring. Now, is this spring different from child to child? Or is it same for all children? Is sadness different from person to person? For example, if someone slaps you and someone slaps me, we get the same sadness, right? I won't feel happier. Slap me, baby. I won't be like that, right? You and I are going to feel the same sadness. Sorrow springs are all the same. Now, no matter child, the name, child like Javed sir, right? Javed sir is like a child, right? Now, no matter child, the name, it doesn't matter who the child is. Sorrow springs are the same. Now we're going to talk about the next section, okay? Why is Margaret crying? Margaret is crying because the Golden Grove is unleaving. Leaves from Golden Grove is falling. Why is it falling though? It's falling because of the season called spring, May. Fall, right? Autumn. And now Margaret is crying. The narrator sees Margaret crying and says, hey, Margaret, are you crying because the leaves in the trees in Golden Grove are falling down? You care about these leaves like the things of man. You with your fresh thoughts care for, can you? You have fresh thoughts, Margaret. What do you mean by fresh thoughts? Margaret is old. No, Margaret is young, right? How can you prove that she's young? Margaret has expired thoughts or fresh thoughts? Margaret has fresh thoughts. You with your fresh thoughts care for, can you? As the heart grows older, it will come to such sights colder. As your heart becomes older, Margaret, as you become old, it will come to such sights colder. It will see things that are not warm. It will see things that are sad, that are depressing. Though, and by, no spare asai. What do you mean by no spare asai? You will keep on crying. You will keep on crying by and by, no spare asai. So remember, when you were in Montessori, you didn't feel sad all the time, right? But when you become an adult, You have problem over problem. People bring problems into your life, that you are always sad, right? Your friends, your family members, your neighbors, right? These opa-dupa people, they bring problems into your life that you're always sad, right? As the heart grows older, it will come to such sights colder. By and by, nor spare as I, the worlds of one would leave me lie. And yet you will weep and know why. Margaret, you are going to keep crying and you'll know the reason. How many couplets are in the poem? 3 rhyming couplets, 1 rhyming trisset, 3 more rhyming couplets. Altogether, how many rhyming couplets do you have in Spring and Fall to a young child? You have 6 rhyming couplets, 1 rhyming trisset. Hope you understand that, okay? A couplet is 2 lines that have the same ending rhyme. To find the rhyme, you have to look at the monocal. You have to look at the conacal. Too easy, right? Now, no matter child, the name, sorrow springs are the same. Nor mouth had, nor mind expressed. So I told you, whose mouth is this? Whose mind is this? Fatima's mouth and mind, or Margaret's mouth and mind? Margaret's mouth and mind, right? The narrator is talking about Margaret's body parts. I mean, she's a child. Narrator is sus, okay? He's doing harami vela, I think, but you get the point, right? Margaret's mouth nor mind told her. They don't understand. Mataka the maker. Do you remember the short note? Her mouth and mind doesn't understand. What can understand though? What do you think, Nangi? Margaret's mouth and mind can't understand. But what will understand? The reason behind her crying. We talked about it. There's a word called ghost. What do you mean by ghost here, Yaka Holmana? No, it is her soul and her spirit. All right? Her mouth can't understand. Her mind can't understand. But her soul, her spirit will understand. What does it understand? Now, no matter, nor mouth, nor mind expressed, nor mouth, nor mind expressed. The mouth did not express. The mind did not express. What heart heard of? The heart heard of this, okay? And ghost guessed. Her heart understands. Her ghost understands. It is the blight man was born for. It is Margaret you mourn for. Tell me words that are similar to mourn. Why is no repeated? That is due to the rhythm, right? Sprung rhythm. No, mourn, Baba, mourn. Words that are similar to the same meaning to the word mourn. Mourn means crying, right? Another word for crying is weep. In the poem, right? Weep. Margaret, are you grieving? Do you remember? Grieve. G-R-I-E-V-E, grieve. All of these words have the what meaning? They have the same meaning, baby. Margaret, are you grieving over Golden Grove unleaving? And yet you will weep and know why. It is Margaret you mourn for. Why is Margaret crying throughout the poem? Margaret is crying because she understands. Does she understand, or her heart and ghost understand? What do you mean by heart and ghost? Margaret's heart and Margaret's ghost. Her soul understands something. What is that? Man was born for blight, right? Man was born for suffering. Man was born for sadness. Man was born for disease. Can someone tell me another poem in your syllabus where the word blight was found? Another genius you are, Salma. Anyone else? Half so well done. Designed by Robert Frost. I found a dimpled spider, fat and white, on a white heel, all holding up a moth, like a white piece of rigid satin cloth. Assorted characters of death and blight. Blight means disease. That's designed by Robert Frost. Why is design and Spring and Fall to a young child different? Design is a what sonnet? It is a pet Rakan sonnet. But then when you talk about Spring and Fall to a Young Child by Gerard Manley Hopkins. Is this a sonnet? No, it is a poem because it doesn't have 14 lines. It has 15 lines. Sonnets must have 14 lines and must have a formal rhyming scheme. This poem has a formal rhyming scheme, but it has 15 lines. That is why this poem is not a sonnet. So one more time before we leave, you guys know the meaning behind the poem, right? What is the name of the girl crying? Kiyanna satapata chatagala kiyanna mage deyo. Her name is Margaret. Margaret was grieving over Golden Grove, unleaving her. Why is she crying though? Her mouth doesn't understand why she is crying. Her mind doesn't understand what she is crying. Her heart understands why she is crying, and her ghost understands why she is crying. Why is she crying? What's the word? A word we found in Genius Iwa Salma, a word we found in Design by Robert Frost also, blight. What do you mean by blight? Blight means disease. And then the word blight, right, is found in Design, and this is blight of cow, the blight of man. Man is born for disease, right? The older you get, you're going to get disease. Even these days, I have like a fever that is not going away for some reason. Everyone I know are sick. And even I have had a fever for like 3 weeks, man. So man is born for disease, right? You can never be 100% healthy man. You are going to face some kind of a disease. Man, woman, doesn't matter. That is the meaning behind Design by Robert Frost. If you want to join our classes, here's the WhatsApp number. Screenshot tag Gagan. Send me a message. If you want any things regarding how about the tutorials? If you need the tutorials, if you want to know about the syllabus, if you want to know how to join the class, if you want the free tutorials of all the lessons, you can drop me a message through WhatsApp. I would also appreciate if you can give me your feedback. If you want to scold Javed sir, if you want to praise me, if you want to have any kind of conversation regarding the syllabus, drop me a message through WhatsApp. Spring and Fall to a Young Child by Gerard Manley Hopkins had 15 lines. How many rhyming couplets? 3 rhyming couplets, 1 rhyming tercet, 3 more rhyming couplets. What's the rhyming scheme? Kone käälle diha balala hoya gatta neda hoya. A, B, B, C, C, D, E, F, G was the rhyming scheme. 3 rhyming couplets, 1 rhyming tercet, 3 more rhyming couplets. The poem revolves around a girl called Margaret who is crying over a place called Golden Grove, losing its leaves. Due to what is it losing its leaves? It is losing its leaves due to fall, due to autumn. And the poet, no, the narrator, right? Remember, the poet and the narrator are the same person. No, the narrator sees Margaret crying and advises her. What were the neologisms we found in the poem? Unleaving. We also found worn wood. And then we finally found leaf meal. Unleaving කියන්නේ කොළ හැදෙනවද කොළ වැටෙනවද? කොළ වැටෙනවා illegal bulure. Unleaving. Leaf meal means the leaves are decomposing, breaking into smaller pieces. And worn wood means the wood is paling. Why are the leaves falling down? Why are the leaves breaking into smaller pieces? Why is the wood losing its color? The reason is because of the season called autumn or fall, Spring and Fall to a Young Child by Gerard Manley Hopkins. He is a Victorian poet. And apart from that, this is a 15-line poem that revolves around a child called Margaret. Margaret was crying because of Golden Grove, was losing its leaves and color because of the season called autumn. Margaret's mind and mouth can't understand, but her heart and her ghost, her soul, her Atmaya, right? In Sinhala, we call it her spirit understands. Man was born for, one word, Baba. Man was born for blight. That is why Margaret was crying. Before we leave, baby, here is the poem one more time. Memorize the poem with Javed, sir. Margaret, are you grieving over Golden Grove unleaving? Leaves like the things of man. You with your fresh thoughts care for, can you? As the heart grows older, it will come to such sights. colder. By and by, nor spare as I, though worlds of one would leave me lie, and yet you will weep, and know why now. No matter, child, the name, sorrow's springs are the same, nor mouth had, nor mind expressed, what heart heard of. Ghost, guest. Whose ghost? Margaret's archie ghost, or Margaret's soul? Margaret's soul. What heart heard of? Ghost, guest. It is the blight man was born for. It is Margaret you mourn for. You know how to reach out to Javed. There's so many things to talk about, so many things to learn about. Thanks a lot for being a part of the seminar. It is your hard work that makes me want to keep working. It is your hard work that makes me want to make you the best. You are better than commerce and bio and maths pupils. You are going to be the people who are going to run the world. Reach out to me through WhatsApp, join our classes, support our cause. It's always an honor, always a pleasure to be called your teacher. Dab with Javed's a baby. Flex with Javed's. I will see you next time in our free seminar, or I will see you in my class.